Good morning, Canadian Yarn Heart. My name's Alyssa, and today we're going to be making a Santa coat. I don't actually have one that like it, but this one will be pretty close, so I figured it would be at least a good idea to be able to show you what it looks like. This is a very comfortable cardigan. I'm going to be making basically a Santa version of it, so it's going to be red and white. So if you are new here, thank you very much for coming. I very much appreciate it. If you are new here, or if you're a returning viewer, thank you very much for coming back. I very much appreciate that. Quick synopsis of what I do here is Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I do a quick daily update showing you basically like a project like this, which will take me a little bit longer to do. Doesn't take me a day. It takes a lot longer than that sometimes. Sometimes this can take a couple of months. This one probably will take me a weekend. I don't imagine it's going to take me very long, and I have a feeling it's going to probably dominate the next few days. So, because I'm wanting to really to do this, so I have it for Christmas. So, I am going to work on getting it done. I would love to earn your like and subscription. I would love to hear from you. Any questions, comments, or concerns you have below, or any ideas or tips, or anything you think. I am willing to learn from my viewers. No problem there. I'm going to move you over to the overhead cam, and we're going to get started. All right, so now that I've moved over, what we're going to do is we're going to use the Bernat Velvet Your Inspirations, and this is a 5 bulky. It recommends a 6.5 millimeter needle and a 6.5 millimeter hook. It does say hand wash, however, this can be machine washed. I do know that for this yarn. This one I've ordered online. I do not know much about it other than it's a polyester and it's a beautiful red color that I wanted for the coat specifically. They come in twos. I didn't order two at the same time. I did order two at different times, so I am just waiting for the other two to come. What we're going to do is with the velvet, we're going to use a 5 millimeter needle, and we're going to use a 4.5 for the red. So I'm going to get started, which means we do need a 5 millimeter hook. Oh, fancy that. That was easy. So I already had my end on this one. We are going to cast on, which I am going to use a needle or a hook. It is my favorite way to cast on, and I'm going to cast on 200 onto these Susan Bates acrylic needles. I will link these in the description box below. These are my favorite. Move just a bit forward. Notice that I'm you need to put you just a bit more forward. So I love these needles. These are my absolute favorite needles to use. A lot of times when I'll make fingerless gloves, I will use my arrow needles, which are my absolute favorite for smaller needles. But when you get 5 and up, Susan Bates has these really nice acrylic needles. They are my favorite. So we are going to cast on 200. Now the way you do that with a hook is you wrap it around the needle and you pull through. And then you just do that again until you get your amount of stitches that you need on the hook, or on the needle, I should say. This is a great way to learn how to cast on, because it'll have a really nice elastic bordered edge, which is far better than any other way I've tried to figure out. So we're just going to continue casting on, and I will be back when I have the 200 stitches. So I have my 99 stitches because 200 is the last stitch, and you put it onto the needle. So you just put it on just like that. So just take it off the hook and put it on the needle. So that's that. So now I'm going to start my garter stitch, which is straight knitting. So it's a 1 row repeat. You just put your needle in. You wrap around the needle and you pull it off through and off the hook, or off the needle. So around, through, and off. Around, pull it through, and push it off at the same time. I use my left hand to do it, and it helps guide the needle. And you're going to do that for 3 inches. So I will come back when I have the 3 inches and I will show you what the next row is because this is just a 1 row repeat. So you just gonna do the same thing for 3 inches and I will be back. Alright, so we have gotten, I've gotten the 3 inches done. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cast on 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16 stitches on my 4.5 needles. I'm going to use a 4 to cast on, leaving a little bit of a tail. You want to just tie that up because you really do want to keep that tail. You'll need it to sew these pockets in. So there's your slip knot. Now what you're going to do is you're going to cast on 16 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 stitches, and then 16 goes up and onto the needle. So that's how you get off of the hook onto the needle. Now what you're going to do is you're going to knit and purl 2 row repeat for the length of your hand. So what I like to do is I like to put it down, my tip of my finger is touching the needle and it's right at the base of my wrist. So that will be that's my first pocket because I want to have 2 of them. So I'm going to show you how to knit, just like you did with the white. You're going to knit across these 15 stitches. And you do want to do this before you attach the red to the white. So that is why we're doing this at the start. You could have done it before you started the white. I didn't think to do it, so I'm doing it now. So what it is a stocking stitch. And that's pretty much all this pattern is going to be now. So you're just going to stocking stitch all the way up. As I said, I'm just going to measure against what I have here. Otherwise, I measured against my hand, so I know that my hand is going to fit into the pocket. So now we're going to purl. So purling, knit, you put your hook in your needle in that way. Purling, you come this way. So you come from this side of the loop. And you just want to knit and purl all the way across. So you're, like I said, you're going to do that until both pockets meet your hand measurements, and I will be back when I'm done this one and I will show you how to do the next step. Okay, so now I have it, and this is what I do is I like to measure it. I can see I'm about 1 row away. So now you're going to use a spare needle. And what you want to do is grab that spare needle knit your way across the spare needle, and that way your pockets are on a spare needle waiting for you to use them. And this is a great use for a needle point protector, so you put it on after you're done this, and then we can start the main bulk of the cardigan. So you just want to knit or purl this one off, and then you want to leave a bit of a tail. And then we're going to go straight into working on, so there's my that, and now we're going to go straight into working on the, so you just put my protector on, push it on pretty good, and now what I want to do is I want to grab the white. You can take that off now. Going to add the red to it. So what you're going to do is you're just going to knit this row. So that's knit. way across. And I will come back as soon as we've done that. So I can show you the next row, which is just purl, but I will come back and show you that and tell you the next steps. So I just got the red row done, and now what we're going to do is we're going to purl this row, and you're going to stocking stitch like this for the next 10 inches. So I will be doing this for a little while, and when I come back I'll show you how to add on the pockets. So for now you're just going to do stocking stitch, and then I will come back. So you're just purling, and you're going to knit, and you're going to purl, and you're going to knit, and you're going to purl, and you do that for 10 inches, and when I come back we'll add the pockets. So I will see you back in a bit, because it's going to take me a little bit. Probably won't take me terribly long, might take me a day, but I will be back and I will show you how to add the pockets. Okay, so I have finally gotten that much done, and we are going to add the pockets. It's been a few weeks for me. I've had to take some time off. So what we're going to do now, I will say, if you notice here, it started worming on me. They're just tiny little loops that you can see. I did not like that, so I ended up going back. I ended up going to a 4.5 millimeter needle. I ended up wrapping it around my shoulders and realizing 200 was way too big for me. So I have done 180. So I have 180 stitches here. It is the exact same thing, just a smaller hook. Oops. A smaller hook and or needle, I should say, not hook, but a smaller needle and a little bit less stitches. So what we want to do now is we're going to take 180 divided by 4, which gives you 45, but then you've got to take off 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, minus 18, so that gives you 27. So what I'm going to do now is 26 divided by 2 equals 13. So now what you want to do is just before, so on this row, we're going to work 13 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 13. So that's my 13. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Yep, so one more. So that's my 13th. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cast off, I think I said 18. 18, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13, 18. So 18 stitches now. So that was 1, 2, 3. I do apologize if you can hear that. That's my son just playing in our driveway. It's very snowy out there. So now saying that, I have forgotten how many stitches I have. So what you can always do, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that was my 5th. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, Now you're going to just go to the other end, and what you want to do is 13, so the last 31 stitches. Now you're going to work all the way over to the last 31, if you've got the same measurements I do. He's still trying. And we've had a lot of snow come down in the last 3 hours, so unfortunately my poor son's stuck in our driveway. Both of them are out there trying to unstick the car, so do apologize if you can hear that. So I'm going to keep going this way, and then once we get to the last 31 stitches, we will do the same thing. Cast off 18, and then we're going to turn, and we're going to add the pockets and sew them in at the same time. So, I keep hitting that. So we're just going to keep going. So I'm going to pause it, and I will be back, and I will show you what it looks like when I start adding, because like I said, you're just going to go to the last 31 stitches, you're going to cast off 18, and then you're going to knit the 13. So I will be back in a minute, and I will show you the next step. Alright, so now that I've got that row done, what we're going to do is we're going to knit to the hole. So you just knit all the way over to the hole. Just like this. I should have grabbed it all out. Just rush my keeps pulling. So now I'm going to grab this one. Now I like to do the 2 threads together on the first stitch, and then I just grab my working and I leave the string that's going to sew it in. Just work along the knitted stitches, get them off of the needle. This will be very nice to get them off. And then I'll show you how I sew them in. So I'm a little off in the chair right now, so there we go. Grab that. Now you're going to do 5 stitches here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to put these stitch protectors, needle point protectors on the tips. That will prevent you from losing any stitches here. And then when you want to get a good measurement for sewing it in, go about the center and take a stitch marker and grab the needle. That will prevent it. See if you, I don't know if you can see that right there. That is called worming, and that is what happens with chenille yarns. It is just something that happens. That is my best way of saying to fix them. But that is also why I went down, because it was doing it all over. And I really don't like when it does that. So I was hoping the 4s would be tight enough. You might go down to a 3.5 if you have to. I think this will be fine since it's just for me in the house. If you didn't use chenille yarn, it would be fine if you used a different kind of yarn. I have never used this particular chenille before, but it is the perfect red for Santa's coat. So I always start this one side, pull it, grab with one hand, and work on stitching it the other way with the other hand. So the one hand is just a guide, and the other hand is just going to stitch it up as smoothly as possible. And this is going to be a pain to sew up, I can tell, just because of the way it keeps catching. So this yarn is almost sewing it, it just, so if you found a different yarn, that might be, I will link this yarn if you want to use it. It is beautiful yarn, but, oh, there's a knot there. Okay, that's why it keeps catching. Just go around that line, as you can see, through. And I do apologize, this was supposed to come out on Christmas Day. This was supposed to be my Christmas Day project. I was really rushing to get through it, and then I had a personal loss that I just couldn't work on anything I had touched before the loss. I just couldn't do it. It took about a few days before I could even pick up needles. It took about 2 weeks before I picked up a hook, so it took some time before I could go back and work on these projects that I'm so excited to get done. But so I do know that when this comes out, it will be after Christmas. I do know that right now. I do apologize, but I really wanted to release this one. As I said, this was supposed to be my Christmas morning one. I was really excited to release this for Christmas Day, and unfortunately, it was a little somber in our house, and still working on getting back to normal, or at least the new normal, I guess. And just going to work all the way around the bottom edge. And you're going to do this for both sides. I do recommend with the other side of this, finish this row off, finish past the pocket on the next row, and then do the exact same thing. So get past the pocket, do about 5 stitches past, grab the stitch marker, stitch it into place, and then stitch it up. And that way the stitch marker, I do find the stitch marker absolutely is a godsend for sewing in pockets, because it'll hold the front of the pocket, which has nothing to grab onto. It'll hold it in place for you, so you get a proper measurement, and it works really good. So I'm just going to keep sewing up this pocket. There they come in, so I got the dark on stock, which is good. So as I said, I'm just going to stitch this up. After you get the pockets worked in, you're going to want to work on work for, I think it's about, well, for me, I go put my hand in the pocket and I work until, just a little bit, until I put my hand in the pocket, stay, but I work until my arm hits my tattoo. So I'm going to, so you want about 16, 17 inches. And that is a great measurement for yourself, to give yourself a really good, to get a good measurement, proper measurement of how your sleeves should be on your own arm. Like I said, I'm going to do about 16, 17 inches of pattern, and then I will come back and I will show you what the next stage is. Since I've shown you one pocket, the other pocket is just the same. And if you want a detailed explanation, all my other videos show how to do the other pocket. I'm just not sure I need to show it in this, because it is the same thing. Like I said, I'm just going to work all the way across, add the pocket, finish the row off, and then the next row I will finish past the pocket, put the stitch marker in, and then start sewing, so that way I can get a good sew pocket in. And when I'm finished, I take the center stitch marker out, and I always put my hand in it. See, there's a hole right there. I will fix that up, but that's pretty good. And that allows you to know you've done a good good job sewing your pocket, like I said, one spot right where the other yarn is, which can happen. Just pull that down. So this one in place a little bit better. And as I said, I'm going to do the other pockets, and I will be back after I've done 16 to probably 16 and a half inches. I'll say that. I'll do that way. 16 and a half inches when I come back. I think that'll be the right amount. As I said, just want to sew them in. Just pull this bottom line. Darn in the end. Just unpack myself a bit. Always do a quick pull at the end just to make sure you don't have your yarn being pulled too tight. You don't want that. So there's that one off. Now I'm just going to double back on this end. What the heck was that? No. So I will be back when I have my 16 and a half inches to show you the next stage, and I will be for you right back. Okay, so I've got my 16 and a half inches roughly up to my tattoo here. So just past your arm, and then you're going to take 180, which is how many stitches you have. You're going to divide that by 4, and that equals 45. So what you're going to do now, you all are going to need 2 stitch markers, and I'm going to go with purple because they'll stand out against the red. So you're going to pattern over 45 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45. So there's that one. We're going to put a stitch marker here. And then what we're going to do is I like to put the stitch protectors, the needle point protectors back on. Move all your yarn down and then count out the next 45. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 22, 24, 26, 32, 34, 36, 38, 42, 44, 45. And the reason I do count off the first onto the needle is so you have more room to count that second 45. So here's your front panel, that is your back panel, and that is your secondary front panel. So your left front panel, your back panel, your right front panel. What you're going to do now is you're going to work pattern, which is stocking stitch pattern, for 10 inches, and then you're going to cast off on each panel. So the front panel, the back panel, which will be 90 stitches, if I'm counting correctly, because it's the two together, and then you've got the front. I will come back after that to show you how to attach it together, because it is just as simple as add your yarn here, do 10 inches, add your yarn here, do 10 inches. So, and then cast off, or do the way I cast off. I will be back to show you how to stitch it up, how to do the sleeves, and we'll go from there. Alright, so I have gotten this finished to the sleeves point now. So now what I want to do is just line them up, darn your needle, and you're going to sew each seam on the shoulders. Now you don't want to be pulling too tight on this. You do want to give it a looseness, so you're just not pulling really tight, super tight, and you're not doing too many lock-in stitches. You just want a nice light seam. So you just kind of grab the top loops on either side, so one top loop on each side. So there's that one, that one. And you're going to go all the way across. Now you're going to do that to this end, and then you're going to do the same thing to the other end. So that's how you sew up the edges. Back on. And then what you want to do after that, because you need to watch me 10 minutes sewing up something, you're going to start with the white, because you're going to be doing your sleeve. Now you can do this with DPNs, or you can do this with straight needles. I prefer straight needles. They do go faster for me. But if you want a much better fit, DPNs will work really well here. So now what you want to do is you want to cast on 54 stitches. So you're just going to do that. 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 12. I'm going to continue this, and I will come back as soon as I have it all cast on. Okay, so I have 53 stitches and 54th one on. I did take the time to sew this up, so it is all sewn up now. I'm going to now garter stitch for 2 inches. So I'll show you how to do that again. So you just straighten it for 2 inches, just like this. And then I will come back and I will show you how to switch to the next step. And I will show you how to finish off the sleeves. And remember to make 2. You will need the second sleeve as well. And then we'll be on to the next step. So I will be back after I have my 2 inches, and I'll show you the next step. Okay, so I've gotten my 2 inches on the white. So now we're just going to do stocking stitch. So you're just going to change to the red. You're just stocking stitch, which is so you're going to do this for 16.5 inches. So remember to make 2. You're just going to knit 1 row, purl 1 row. For 16 inches, you'll cast off. And then I suggest making the next one, and that way you can use the measurements to help you. If it's all sewn up and sewn in, it doesn't always allow for proper measurements. Sometimes things can be just a bit off. So this is how you knit this row. As you've seen before, I've shown it before earlier in the video, and definitely another one. And as I said, if I can get the belt done, I will. It will be a crocheted belt. I'm not going to knit the belt. That's where I'll have the crochet. But I will knit the loops using I-cord. So either that will be on this video, or I will make another video and I will show how to do that. So just keep going. As I said, I really hope this is Sunday's video. I'm aiming for that. If I can get it there, that would be good. So, and then you're just going to purl. As I said, that's just put your needle the back way. And there's your So I'm going to do this for 16.5 inches. I will have both of them. I will show you how to come back and sew them up. I will be back in a minute. Okay, so I have both sleeves done here. So what you're going to do, oops, light, is you're going to sew up or darn up the edges, just like this. And with chenille, you want to be really careful. You just want to do it very lightly. Don't pull too hard. Otherwise, you might pull the fluff out. If you take a little bit extra time, go a little bit slower, it does tend to go a bit easier. So what you're going to do is you're just going to grab one loop on each side, just like you did for the shoulder seams, and you're going to go upwards. The garter stitch is really easy because you can get in between each of the rows really easy. And then you're going to do that. You do that all the way up. And you're going to do the same thing by attaching it to the shoulders. You don't have to do much to do with it. It's the same as you've been doing. You just grab one loop, match the two sides up, grab one loop, and it works. So there's that. There's the white. I'm going to pull this one through so it's on one side, and I'm going to darn both of these off. And they aren't 16 inches. What I ended up doing was I ended up putting the jacket on. So you wore the jacket, it's inside out, but I still put it on that way. And I held the sleeve up to the arm where it came down on my shoulder just to get in very accurate. I think it's only about 10 inches, maybe a little bit more. And then you just want to darn this section in. There's that one. There we go. Now, I'm going to grab this guy because I've actually run out. I'm actually waiting for something to be ordered. So I'm just going to grab a little guy here just to show you. You just keep going this way. And how you do that is you can just tie this end off. I like to do it with a double knot. So I double knot it just a little bit, just so in case I go out of screen. And you just go back and forth, grabbing the two loops on that, and you go all the way down, making sure those two line up on this end. As I said, that was my yarn chicken. That's where I ran out, so I just barely made it. I do have a little bit more red here that I can use. I'm going to use to sew it up. Oh, pardon me. But then what you do is you just line those two up. That style. I'm picky about the stitch markers I like to use. I like to use this style. It's bigger. And then this is the beginning, so this would be ready to clip in, and you just go along grabbing the top row. So that's that. Now I'm going to show you what we're going to do. We're going to cast on, let me think. Okay, you want an end for this. And it doesn't matter how long you tie it up, you will still need more because this is the outside of the coat. So, and I won't be able to do the buckle this time because, like I said, I did run out of yarn and I do have more ordered. I just don't know what time it'll come. So that gets tied. I know that's an excessively large amount, but you do use a lot to sew it in. So now I'm going to cast on 20 stitches, and you're going to garter stitch all the way around. And the best I can do to tip you on how to do that is go as long as you think you're going to need, and I mean you're going to go quite a ways. 2, 3, 4, 5, goes on. So you're going to do that. I did have 5 balls, as I said. It is a little large for me, so I could have done 160 as opposed to 180. Probably been okay with the 5 balls, but for this I did need 6 of the yarn. I do not have a ball on me that is the same currently, because I do have this one, but this one is a different brand, so I'll leave that. And then you're just going to garter stitch as far as you can. Like I said, go as long as you think, and then start sewing it on as you're knitting it. I will come back and show you it at some point. I don't know. That's tight. That is very tight cast on. That's why you can hear it squeaking. It is just the first row. Once you get past the first row, a lot of times that'll balance itself out. So that's what we're going to do next. I will come back. I will show you how to, like I said, I'll show you how to sew it on when I'm ready to sew on, and I'll show you what I'm doing. So I will show you my next steps. I will be back in a minute. Okay, so I've gotten that much of the border done. It looks like a lot. I guarantee you I'm still going to have to keep doing more. But I figured I'd show you how to start this. And there's my end. And basically what you're going to do is you're going to grab the end that's closest to this part. So you want the one that's the closest. And then you're going to grab your work. And you're going to put the wrong side to this part. And you're just going to stitch them together. And then you're just going to keep going all the way around until you have it stitched in. Oops. There we go. And then you're just going to stitch it up. You can afford to have a bit of a tail on your needle. That'll shorten your pulls that you need to pull through. And so you just want to do that, stitching it all up, giving yourself the nice white border. Now I want to show you how to do an I-cord. I'm just going to finish the stitch. Alright, so what an I-cord is it's a handle of sorts. So I'm going to use 2 double pointed needles, and they do have to be double pointed needles to make this work. Now, where is my end? Interesting. I was using this yarn. I have no idea where the end went. That's weird. So I'm just going to pull this out, get my yarn barf out, and then now find my end. And of course it's not easy to find. I hate when it's not easy to find. There we go. It's somewhere in here. There it is. So what you want to do is you're going to use 4mm hook, leave a little bit of a tail, and you're only going to do 4 stitches. So you're going to cast on your 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Because as we know, we put the 4th one on. So now you're going to knit this first row, just like normal. So just straight knitting. And 4, and then what you're going to do is you're going to pull it back down that, and you're just going to then knit just like that. 2, 3, and 4, and you're going to just bring it down the double pointed needle, and you just pull it nice and tight, and that'll make it into a cord. And you're going to do this for about 3 inches, and you're going to want 2 of them. So about 3 inches, a little bit more, a little bit less isn't going to hurt. This is going to be your belt loops, because I will be making the belt later. At a part 2, I will do the belt, but I'm just going to get this out for Tuesday, so it is Sunday now. So I'm just trying to finish it up. The next time you'll see this, it will be done. I'll come back one more time to show you how to sew these I-cords on and where to place them, because I think I have a good idea. And like I said, you're just going to keep going like this. You do this for about 3 inches. And then you're going to look at the loop. It may need a 1/4 inch if you think your belt is going to be, because you're going to be putting your belt through these. So if you remember that, it should be good. I will be back when I finish both of these and I finish the border. So I will be back in a minute, and I will see you then. Okay, so I did manage to get it finished. And what we're going to do right now is we're going to put the 2 little I-cords. What you can do right now is you can tie both ends together. You just want them a loop. I did end up doing mine 6 inches because I did want to do a bit thicker belt, I think, when I get around to that. So then you've got your loop like that. I am going to tie it up just a little bit. Just going to try and get both ends to just kind of stick together, so it is definitely still a nice tight loop. There we go, right there. Now, you want about your hand away from your armpit. So just a bit lower. You're going to go in through it, pull it through. You're going to go out, come back in. If you noticed what I did there, I can feel with both my hands where the needle is. So I'm just kind of, I know it looks very red, but the needle's right here and my hand is right here on it. Tightening that up. And now I'm just going to grab right in there where all the loops are. You want to just kind of tuck your tails into it. That, you're going to repeat that on the other side. So like I said, you just want to grab the end. And you're going to, I did not tie a knot in this one apparently, but I am sewing them together. So that'll still give them the same kind of feel, because there's 2 different ways you can do this. So now you want to go to the other one. Go about a hand down. So you want to put your hand about to the armpit and go right about there, I think is what I did. Pull it through. Now what you want to do is you're going to lean on this side so you can see that I come up, I grab it, back through. And now I think I can make sure. Put my hand under. Make sure I can feel when the needle comes in and when it leaves. And then just make sure you know you've got a good tight connection with it, sewn in connection. Just do it again. And then come over here and just tighten it up. Go through. So I'm going to put you on hold for just a second so I can put this on the mannequin so you can see what it looks like finished. And we will be done. Okay, so there you have it. It's all done. I'm just going to come in from the back. Steady. Smooth it all. Mannequin. is Santa's coat, and I'm just going to lift, and you can see the loops. So I hope you enjoyed the project. I hope you have a wonderful day. I hope you come back.